Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning into Network Live TV, where we're going to talk about how to increase your networking efforts locally, nationally, or internationally, as well as discuss things that will help you up your game online. Our guests are going to provide you with tips and tricks today that are usable, that you can use right now today. And hopefully you will enjoy something that they say and reach out and hire them. So we want to make sure that you are meeting people all over the globe that can help you out in your online efforts or any of your virtual business. So I'm your host, Sabrina Watson, founder of NetworkLiveVirtually.com, where you can grow your business through networking and creating live virtual relationships all over the world. Our meetings and membership are totally free to attend, so don't miss your chance to network and build relationships with amazing people. I also want to let our audience know that we are looking for people who are absolutely serious about building their brand and business while establishing their authority and creating a larger circle of influence to be hosts with us on NetworkLiveVirtually.com. The people we're looking for are going to have three main qualities. They're going to be a team player, self-motivated, and dependable. So if you feel like you have these qualities, please reach out to me and we'll talk about the benefits of being a host with NetworkLiveVirtually.com. We are about 600 registered members strong in over a dozen countries currently. So I want to thank my guests today for taking their time out of their busy schedules to join us, share their thoughts with us and their tips and tricks. And I'm so grateful that they're here. So I want to start with by introducing you to Renata. But Renata's got, I'm going to call her Renata Mizzou. But Renata, tell everybody what your last name is.
It's Renata Mazuknieda.
What she said. So, it's just very difficult for people to pronounce, so you can just call her Renata, she says. And Renata got bit by the coaching bug while working with the agencies of the state of Georgia, where she consulted and coached employees, managers, and executives from the various state agencies. Her extensive knowledge, skills, and experience gained in this field, as well as the travel and real estate investment industry, and passion to work with people, encouraged Renata to shift her career towards her own coaching practice. She holds a master's degree in human resources development and a professional certified coach credential, and is life and business growth coach, and is the founder of Edge Savvy Coaching. Renata's motto is, when you truly know who you are, what you want, and why, and are ready to take even a small step forward, the how will come with no effort. Her unique coaching approach enables an individual to find or regain the true purpose that is often forgotten among the business owners, and to grow a business and improve personal life beyond the expectations. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us this morning, Renata.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about coaching. So many people just really are unsure of what coaching is. So tell us, what is life coaching? And what is business coaching? And is there a difference?
Well, to me, they're interrelated, because you cannot really coach a business owner. Well, you don't really coach a business, because it starts with a person, and we come to that person whether they have issues, successes, well, you name it. Basically, we just look at the person as a whole and see what they're about, what they want, what their goals are, what they have, what they don't have, and we start from here. So coaching, I get a lot of questions like what the coaching is. It's simple as partnership between you and I, or myself and a business as entity. And we go from there. We support. My major job is to focus on you as a person or as a business as a whole, because it's people inside the business. To focus on your problems, your opportunities, your goals, to give you steps and to give you support how to get from where you are right now, where you want to be, to show a different perspective, because a lot of times people get blinded when they're too close to the issue or problem. The main thing is for me to ask questions, because a lot of times people already know the answers. They just haven't found a way to find them. And my job is also to call on a person. to make them accountable. Because if they're ready to move to the next step or to accomplish something, they have to make an action. I cannot do anything for them except hold their hand and show them the way.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, it's about providing a safe place and a simple no judgment support. That's what I see a coaching.
So as a result of coaching, many times, let's talk about what are the positive effects for a client and what can actually come out of coaching for them. So they can set some better short-term and long-term goals. Do you help them set those goals? And if so, how do you help them set those goals?
Okay, when I come in, first what I do is I look at a person. I want to know who they are, what they like, what they don't like, what they actually love doing, what they want. They have to know them for themselves. What is it that they want to do, and if they're ready. That's the most important thing, because if they're not ready, we cannot make anyone do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the process that it works.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of the challenges and pitfalls that people have in just establishing those very basic things?
They don't know what they want.
I hear that a lot. Is that like the number one problem with people, is that they don't know what they want?
Okay, well, yes. If they know approximately, I want to do this business or I want to accomplish this, a lot of times fear comes along. And the number one, I would say, is they're afraid to take a step forward because they think they're going to fail. And that's what keeps them from doing anything. They'd rather sit on the couch and dream, I want this or that, but they will not make a step forward. Because sometimes even the smallest, tiniest step forward can bring huge success. And they don't realize that.
And why do you think that people are so afraid of that these days? It seems to me now, of course, you're the coach, so you're going to correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a coach. But it seems to me that our environments nowadays just are so negative that people really are feeling like they're afraid to be ridiculed if they fail. Or do you find that's kind of the root of that?
Yes, that's partially that it is. What I see most of the time is they don't know who they are and they don't accept themselves. Because I used to think also a while ago, I want to accomplish this, I want to make money, I want to build the business, but I never truly knew what I want and who I am because I never loved myself. And when there is a shift in the mindset about you, about yourself, then things are changing. The right circumstances appear, the right people appear, you kind of appear in the different situations, and everything seems to start going in a different direction. So it's about you and accepting yourself, and that's what a lot of people miss.
So we really need to, coaching really helps us get to the root of what is going on inside.
Yes, that's my approach. Different coaches use different tactics and methods. I start with you as a person because if you don't know things about yourself or what you like or what you love doing, it's not about the things that you can do. We can do many jobs, we can work at different places, but it doesn't mean that we're going to be successful there. Because a lot of those places focus on weaknesses and they do those reviews, annual reviews, and they want you to build up of what you don't have and they miss on what you're really strong at. So and also want to mention that a lot of people don't actually disregard their hobbies or what they love to do because they think they cannot make money out of it. It's just it's a hobby and I'm going to leave it at there. And that's the huge mistake they make. Because I'm not saying you have to dive in and get a business out of it. That would be wrong. First, unless you know that you can do that. But you have to explore things. Because if you don't, you'll never know.
What kinds of things should we explore, Renata? Let's give some people some tips and tricks. What kinds of things should we dig in there and explore?
What I would suggest doing is just sit down with a pen and paper and write down what they like doing. Then write down what they love doing, what their hobbies are.
Mm-hmm.
See what they're actually good at doing, what they do really, really good. And see if those match what they love and what they're best at. And there will be a lot of overlaps, I'm sure about that. And then you see if you want to take all this to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you have to quit 8 to 5 jobs. Don't ever do that if you don't have anything going on the side. But you can take a small step. I was talking to a friend a couple days ago, and he's so great at photography. I just was looking how he was teaching other people. He just has the skill, this ability, that genuinely, truly passionate thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's so afraid to take a step forward because he's like, oh, this is my hobby.
Mm-hmm.
You can take that hobby many different ways and many different levels. So just go through that process, figuring out and writing down. Because when you have in mind, like when you imagine or try to remember what you like, it's not the same as writing it down. That's a mental thing, that psychological thing that goes through. So just try, and you'll see that you'll have a different picture.
And coaching isn't always just about getting out there and stepping out and becoming an entrepreneur and starting a business. Coaching can be about excelling in your current job, right?
Oh, yes. That's most definitely yes. And since you mentioned that, I had a client approach me a couple weeks ago. She was having difficulty changing jobs. She wanted to move into a different company, a slightly different position, and she couldn't figure out why she's not getting job offers. She was able to go through the interview processes, the first and second stage, but she seemed to not be able to get the final interview stage. And then we sit down and talked, and her mindset was focused on a little different things. Like, oh, I want this particular job and I want this title, but that was it.
Mm-hmm.
So we worked with her a little on what exactly she wanted in that job, how she wanted to feel, or what company in general she wanted to work for, not a specific one. So after that, couple of weeks later, she got not only a job, she got 3 job offers with the major companies in Atlanta. So it's just a matter of the mindset.
And let me see. Jennifer says, me. Well, Jennifer, you'll have to come in and consider joining us. So let's talk a little bit about why coaching works. Why does coaching work? What are some of the things that professional coaches do that will help it work for someone?
There are different kinds of coaches. There are career coaches, there are growth, there are executive, there are international, multicultural coaches. It really depends which kind of coach we're talking about. But the main thing is the support. Mm-hmm. Because I've had coaches in the past when we were doing the real estate. They're just there to support you, to show you the other side of what you don't see. Mm-hmm. Because it's like I would be holding like a card, and I can only see one side of it. And a lot of times people are too blinded to see the other side, or even to turn around the card and see what's on the other side. So that is what the purpose of the coaching is. It's not to tell you what to do, it's to show you the other way, to show you the opportunities, what you're missing.
So coaches are really they're gonna listen, they're gonna observe, they're gonna identify your needs, and then they're gonna customize the approach and the strategies. Is that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm. The only thing, don't misunderstand, we're not gonna do the job for you.
There you go.
Yeah, you're the only one who can actually accomplish things, and you need to step it up. Mm-hmm. To do something, because my job is to show you the way, but eventually you are the one who has to do the work. Mm-hmm.
So coaches help you identify and develop and focus on your strengths. And how do you do that? How do you go about identifying somebody's strengths?
Well, as I mentioned before, like we went through a small process of defining what you want to do.
Do the same thing?
It's about the same thing, because on one thing, you may not be a technical person, but it doesn't mean that you have to drop everything else and learn how to use a certain program or application. My problem with focusing on the weaknesses is that you focus on the struggle. You focus on what's lacking in the person. And in human nature we resist the struggle. We don't want to be in the struggle. So automatically our feelings get down and we're not as high performing as we're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. So the coach is supposed to focus on the strength and build up on those, and the weaknesses, they come automatically up. Mm-hmm. But again, different coaches use different approaches. Some are methodical, they use certain methods and they don't deviate. Others focus on the personality, they do multiple personality testings. Mm-hmm. I look at the person as a whole who I'm talking to right now. That's all it is. And you read the body language, you can read by a person how they speak or how they behave, if they like something or they don't, if this is what their strengths are or they don't particularly like doing something. Mm-hmm. You just take the whole picture in. You cannot just do by one or another simple method.
So Renata, who needs coaching? Who needs coaching?
Everyone. If you look at your personal life, you have many personal friends, right? Mm-hmm. Guess what they're doing? They're coaching you and you're coaching them. It's just we do that at different levels.
Oh, wow. That is profound.
When we look at the friendships, let's say, and just in general relationships, a lot of people look at relationships as like between like family, like spouses, friends. Mm-hmm. But a lot of those relationships are actually at work as well. So we have to build on those. Mm-hmm. It's just as simple as that. If you look at another person, you want to help them. If they have a problem, they come to you. So you, in a way, coach them. What is your opinion? What is the best way or best approach? The same they do with you. Mm-hmm. So coaching is everywhere. And those who say, oh, I don't need coaching or I don't do, they just probably didn't happen to see the other side.
Mm-hmm. So I think most people, anybody that is considering coaching should just take a look at themselves and say, hey, am I not fully enjoying my life? Do I want more for my life? Am I ready to set bigger goals, but I'm not sure to get there? Are you afraid of taking action? Working on a project, a situation, or a goal, but not sure why you get stuck. So these are all reasons that people would come find a coach, right?
Yes, some find a coach, some look for this kind of support in their own circles. Some try to find books to read or seminars to attend or people to talk to. Mm-hmm. So everyone's actually looking in a different way. Mm-hmm.
So, and you kind of probably kind of told us at the beginning, but let's talk about a little bit about why you went into coaching. What drew you to coaching, Renata?
Oh, that was an interesting story. Actually, I started my coaching career in a hallway. I was in the real estate at the time, and we had a coach. And after a while, I realized that I want to do this on my own professionally. So we were in real estate meeting at that time, and I approached my coach, and I'm like, tell me what I need to do just to get certified and just get rolling. Mm-hmm. So that's how it started.
And what do you like about it? What draws you to it? What attracts you? What do you enjoy?
What I enjoy the most is helping people. Mm-hmm. As cliche as it sounds, is I love working with people, and I love to see them successful, and I love to see them producing results, because a lot of times they don't even know what they're capable of. And by asking simple questions, they realize, wow, I didn't even think that I could do that. So that's what drives me to see them happy, to see them successful.
So do you have a favorite story that you can share with us? Do you have a favorite client? Do you have a really big breakthrough that was fun or enjoyable for you? Tell us a story, Renata.
Let's see.
I'm digging pretty deep here myself, huh?
Well, the story you didn't expect, you would not expect me to tell, but this goes back to looking into yourself and see what you love doing. I had a client who was in the business and he was successful. And one day he comes to me and he's like, I don't know, I want to change something, but I want to add a product and add services to the same business. And my gut feeling is something is not right. And we sit down and we talked for a while, and he actually finally realized that he was doing all this for wrong reasons. It was for money and just to have something going on. So what my biggest, at that time, success was that he saw himself that he was in the wrong place and he was ready to take action. So what happened, he shut down the business that he was currently in, and he opened a hugely successful business that he's running even today, retail stores, and that's made me so happy. It just, sometimes you have to let things go in order to find the bigger thing going on.
Do you find many times that people are really they're either in the wrong, business, or they're employed by the wrong people, or they're doing things for the wrong reasons? Do you find that happens a lot? Do we have a tendency to do that as people?
A lot. I've done it myself. Many people do that. There is nothing, you have to go through things to see the better things. You have to go through some mistakes to find better things to do. Because if you don't, people say that you have to learn from other mistakes, but we tend to do from our mistakes as well, but not as much. So it's hard to say what exactly they need to do unless you sit down with a person and start talking. But yeah, things going on a lot.
So we know the how of how you got into this, and we know the why of what you got into this. So talk to me a little bit about coaching and what it costs. So people, I think most people are scared away a little bit by coaches. Is there good reason for that or not? Are not all coaches the same?
Every coach is different. Like I mentioned before, everyone has different methods and different approaches to people. It just depends what the coach specializes in and how they work. People get scared because it's so many of them and everyone's trying to be a coach. And that's why I really avoid the word coach. I'd rather be a partner with someone or just assist someone or give support. But they are scared of the word itself. And I believe it's from the history, how people got burned or what they read on the news or the stories. It's hard to say why they're scared. I guess we're scared of things we never tried. But what many coaches do now, they offer initial sessions. They come into networking events, they talk to people, and sometimes they tend to avoid telling that they're coaches for the same reason, that people are gonna get scared.
So what is there a basic range for coaches, Renata? What can coaching range? Where can it go from where to where?
It can go from several hundred a month to thousands a month. It depends on what you need. It depends on the level that you need support. It depends how much time a coach needs to spend with you. That's variable. It just, if anyone's interested, there's a link to my website, feel free to email, but it just depends. It depends if you want to talk every other day, if you want to talk once a month, if your business needs that, if you need that for business or if you need that for personal things. There are so many variables.
So there is no cookie cutter approach to coaching.
No.
It's very individualized.
It is very individualized, and some people would come because they have relationship issues, and we go through several months of coaching. And don't take me wrong, I'm not a therapist, so I'm never going to go into the psychological disorders or anything like that. But as simple as things like they have relationships that's not working, they want to know what's wrong, and then they move on. So it could be as I tend to not accept people for less than a couple months, 2-3 months, because they will never see the results in 1 or 2 sessions. Because the first is to introduce yourself, for me to learn about you, and for you to learn about me if we're a good match. Because that's, I guess, where people get scared, is because what if the relationship doesn't work? If you're a good coach and you've had a few clients, you will know that you do not get like matched with this. You may not be my match for your client or vice versa.
Right.
And that's an okay thing to say, that I may refer you to someone else because you may have a better relationship or better results with that person. It's like some of us use Kroger versus Publix, and we just like different things, and some things are better for us than others. So yes, there are different approaches to different kinds of needs, actually.
I've just shared you guys in the chat box Renata's website. It's coachingforbestresults.com. So be sure to go on over there and check it out. She's answered a lot of the questions on the website that we're talking about today, so you can get those answers there again as well. I do want to I've got several more questions for Renata, but I do want to remind everybody that we are brought to you by Network Live Virtually, where you can actually go and join virtual networking groups for free. So I will put that link in there today. I have a virtual networking meeting that happens today at 3 p.m. Eastern. And it is just like networking anywhere else. We start with a business building presentation. This week we have Christy Brown. She's going to talk about stop fighting social media and learn exactly which platform you should be on. The stats tell all. So she's going to tell us all about stats. And we follow that up, of course, with live virtual networking. We meet everybody in the room. We do have audio and video, and we do have contact exchange. So you do get to exchange contact information and download the chat so that you can reach out and connect with whoever you find interesting there. One person or everybody, it's entirely up to you. And again, our groups are free. Membership is free. We do have a private Facebook group as well that is full of entrepreneurs from around the globe. So there is the link for you guys. Please feel free to just click on that link, register to get our Zoom links, and join us at 3 p.m. Eastern today. And again, I'm talking to Miss Renata, and you can find her at coachingforbestresults.com. And we're going to ask Renata just a few more questions that I'm curious about. So Renata, you mentioned therapy. You talked about coaching versus therapy. So there's a difference, right? And people need to know that. Coaches are not therapists, right?
No, we're not.
What are the differences?
Well, we do not dig deep in the mental state, in the mental issues. If we see, well, I'll talk from my perspective. If I see that a person has deeper issues, psychological issues, I will refer them to a different professional. Okay. Because it's not my job and I'm not qualified to do that. Coaching is about support and business growth and success personally and professionally, but we're not good at, we're not educated enough, or we don't have credentials that we need to support you mentally or with a psychological perspective. Yes.
And another area that you mentioned, you talked about developing a relationship with your coach. So is it important that the coach that you're working with and you have a good relationship? And if not, how do you fix that, or how do you change that?
Well, it depends on the reasons. Yes, you have to. That's the answer. Yes, you have. And I have changed one coach in my life, and because it was not working for us. That I was at that time in the real estate, and I did not get the support that I needed, and we were not clicking. It's simple as that. And if you don't have a good relationship, and if you don't trust the person you're working with, you have to do something about it. I don't know really if you can change that. You can modify the approach the coach has. You can do that, but if it's personality issues, you just sit down with the coach and you talk and see what they could refer you to. But you have to do something about it, because what happens is you will be miserable. You will not produce results. You will be avoiding the coaching sessions. You will be avoiding things you need to do. And no one's benefiting from that.
Right. And you're paying for this avoidance, right?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
So that's important to note. So can we give our audience or anybody watching our replay today tips and tricks about how to find a coach? How do you find the coach that's best for you?
Well, I suggest talking to several coaches to see what they're about, what their personalities are, who they're working with, what they specialize in. There are many different ways. You can Google the coaches, you can ask for referrals. There are many networking groups online and in the areas where they meet live. You can meet them in person, you can talk to them. Many of the coaches will offer you complimentary or low-cost initial sessions. So you can actually sit down one-on-one and see if there is a match, if you can work together. There are many different ways. It just depends on what the person prefers, because some prefer referrals, some prefer reading about that coach or reading their articles, just getting introduced to how the coach thinks or how they work. It depends on every single person.
So my last question, well, it's not really my last question, Renata, but I do have to ask this. Do coaches have coaches?
Yes. Yes, we do. I do not have right this moment a coach, but I've had many coaches prior. Sometimes all you need is to talk to someone who knows your area or they have certain expertise in certain things. Yes, we do have coaches.
Interesting. So Renata, tell us a little bit about you personally. Tell us about your family, where you're from, what you love. Where do you live?
I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm originally from Lithuania, from Europe. So I've been here for over 16 years. And I have a 7-year-old daughter who is actually a really, really smart kid. She talked to me the other day. We talked about happiness. And she told me that I was actually surprised. She said, if you don't love yourself, you cannot love others.
Wow. Out of the mouth of a 7-year-old?
Yes. So that topic is really close to my heart. So we just were driving in the car and we started talking. And when I heard that, I had to shut up for a minute and think about it. So, okay. So that's my personal, and I was in the travel industry for 15 years in Europe. And when I came here, and then we moved to real estate, again, you have to go through stages through different businesses to find your own, what's driving you. So here I am.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Renata. I see that you enjoy helping people, and that's really wonderful. There's a lot of people doing a lot of things for the wrong reasons out there, but boy, it certainly is fun to find people that are just there to help people. It's just so amazing. So if you were to give somebody a reason to hire you today, what would it be?
The reason, I cannot think of a reason, but I have the reason for them why they need to hire a coach in general. If they're miserable, if they're stuck, if they don't know what they want, or they don't know how to find out what they want or what they're good at, that's when they need to start looking elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
If some people are not capable to dig into themselves, to dig deep. So if they see I'm a good match, I will be happy to work with them. If not, then I'll refer someone to someone else. But if they don't feel happy, if they don't feel happiness inside, if they don't feel joy of what they do, whether it's business, whether it's personal life or professional, the career-wise, that's when they need to look for a coach.
Mm-hmm. Can you give anybody tips or tricks on questions they should ask a coach? How do you get started in that search? What are some of the questions you might ask?
What you might ask is how they work, what their focus is. Many coaches, probably now a little less than before, than a few years ago, but we tend to focus more on the person versus like the business. Because a lot of times when we would come into the business, we would look at the processes, the business processes, and see what's working, what's not. Mm-hmm. Now the approach changed so much that we identify people who do those processes and what the people are about. And if they're in the right places, do the right things, if this is what they like doing. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people say we're not happy at work, but they're not intending to change anything. So to me, it says there must be something working because you're stay there and you're not changing anything. Mm-hmm. So questions to ask, the experience, they ask for the same things what coaches love doing, what they like about what they do, who they worked with. I would definitely read what they write, because if you're a coach, in my opinion, you're supposed to share, whether it's in articles or videos or any other media. Just meet with a person, mm-hmm. because the conversation will start flowing and you will know what to ask. Because there is no really one rule or a question to ask that you will tell you, oh, this is a coach for me.
Okay, we've come to the time when we want to tell everybody how to find you. So I have posted your website, coastingforbestresults.com, there in the sidebar, you guys, for anybody who would like that information. And where else can we find you, Renata? What social media platforms are you on? What groups are you in? Where can people reach out and find you?
Well, I'm on Facebook. It will be facebook.com/edgesavvy. I'm also on Twitter, again, /edgesavvy. And I am right now opening the Google Plus community. It will be a private. It will also be EdgeSavvy, with EdgeSavvy coaching, where people will be sharing their information and the feelings, what they like, what they don't. And it will be about how to get them from the negative state to the happiness. Mm-hmm. That will be sort of a support group and the possibilities and the opportunities and the steps they need to take to get from that place to a better place.
Awesome. Renata, thank you so much for joining us today. Our other guest today couldn't make it. She had a medical emergency, so we're going to hope that everything is doing well for her. I want to thank my guest, Renata, for joining us today. I do want to let you know just a little bit again about Renata for those of you that are just joining us. She got hit by the coaching bug while working with agencies at the state of Georgia, where she consulted and coached employees, managers, and executives from various state agencies. Her extensive knowledge, skills, and experience gained in this field as well as the travel and real estate investment industry, and passion to work with people, encouraged Renata to shift her career towards her own coaching practice. And one of the things that she totally enjoys about coaching is helping people. So many of us need some help. I want to make sure that you guys do know that she is certified. She holds a master's degree in human resources development, and she is a professionally certified coach, credentialed, and is a life and business growth coach and the founder of EdgeSavvy coaching. Renata's motto is when you truly know who you are, what you want, and why, and are ready to take even a small step forward, the how will come with no effort. Thanks so much, Renata, for joining us today. I will reach out and send you the link to this blog post when it is available on networklivevirtually.com. And again, I want to just let everybody know here that we do have a live virtual networking group that's happening today. We have 4 a week. Here is the link once again. Please feel free to come join us. Today we have Ms. Christy Brown, our special guest, Christy Brown from Significantly Successful. And she's going to talk about the stats on social media. Stop fighting social media. Learn exactly which platform you should be on. Followed by live virtual networking and the exchange of contact information so that you can reach out and actually connect with our over 600 registered users in a dozen countries. So I want to thank you guys all again and remind you that we are here Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 11 a.m. introducing you to entrepreneurs around the world, although we will not have one this Friday. So again, thank you so much for Renata for joining us, and hopefully I will see you soon.
Thank you, Sabrina, for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.